You're welcome back. This is Newsfile. It's your most authoritative news analysis platform. And here on Newsfile, we put Ghana first. A couple of your messages, and I will go to medical doctors we have on the line to assist us briefly on the AstraZeneca scare and Ghana's rollout, how to move from this point. Kofi says, exactly, the handwriting was clearly on the wall from day one when he was asked to proceed on his accumulated leave. It's really sad when you are not needed in the carcass room and it's spelled out that the government has its own agenda against Mr. Domelevo. Nana says, by observation, what I have come to realize is we hail and applaud unhero-like people rather than the true heroes. That's what you wanted to write. In Ghana, there obviously happen to be more to this Domelevo thing than we think. Coming events cast their shadows. Sita Muhammad says, we don't need any court to tell us what the man's age is. How do you convince a form filled and signed by hand personally should be disregarded? In any case, why didn't he, Mr. Domelevo, take steps to correct this anomaly? When you are typing, read over before you send. Then Gilata Selassie says rationalization of injustice. Then Emmanuel J. Bequin says Nana has governed comparatively better, no doubt, but the more justification from the presidency on the sacking of Mr. Domelevo, the more embarrassing the presidency and more popular Domelevo's regime. Indeed, Asempayetia. The great Ajax says the fact that Akufo-Addo premised his letter on the basis that Mr. Domelevo was appointed by Mahama on the eve of his exit from office to do his bidding makes it very clear that he, Akufo-Addo, had the intention of hounding the man from office from day one. PIIE Precious says the president and his team is always seen to be fighting corruption fighters who refuse to be his podul. Mr. Martin Amidu said it, but we didn't bother. Oboy Stark says, I have woken up in such a good mood. The letter from the presidency to the CSOs has made my day already. Thank God for the gift of life. Collins Little Tete says we must respect Domelevo's position on this issue and as such, not go back to past issues which will not change regardless of how long we talk about it. Kwame Hovey says the truth is mostly said in one sentence and not 21 pages. A multi-page statement as this smell ratty. There are others, some of you who also suggest that if he was an MPP man, will he not be called quietly to make the correction that was needed through a legal process? Interesting comments there. Now, this very final message, and then we go on. Samson, be informed and check your dictionary that the definition of hometown is the town of one's birth or early life or of his present fixed residence. Check your dictionary, so there may not be any problems. Now, I want to sincerely apologize to these doctors who have been with us since the show started, because as we always do, we would always start with dealing with the coronavirus matters before we get to deal with any other thing. But midnight, the presidency gave us a 21-page letter, and we needed to deal with that. Thank you very much, Dr. Kwame Amponsa Achiano. if I got your name wrong, please forgive me, Senior Public Health Physician Specialist and Program Manager, Expanded Program on Immunization, the Ghana Health Service. Dr. Kwame Sapong-Asiedu is pharmacist and fellow, Ghana Center for Democratic Development, CDD, and George Sabla, Head of Safety Monitoring, Food and Drugs Authority, FDA. Gentlemen, once again, very sincerely apologize for keeping you on the lines for so long. But if we may start with Kwame Sapong-Asiedu, the AstraZeneca scare, and we are waking up to, is it just yesterday, Boris Johnson asking that he should be giving his jab with AstraZeneca? Where are we now with that?
We're exactly, thanks Samson, and good morning to everyone. We're exactly where we were when the vaccine was released, that there was not actually a problem. The truth of the matter is the French Prime Minister has also had it. There was like I said on the show last week, there was a bit of a hullabaloo about some clots. And as at last week, no causal relationship had been established. What happened was the European Union got the European Medicines Agency to look into it to see if indeed there was no causal relationship. The WHO looked independently, and the Medicines and Health Products Regulatory Authority in the UK looked independently as well. None of them was able to find any causal relationship. So most countries have started using the AstraZeneca vaccine. This was more to do with politics than it was to do with medicine.
So we clearly shouldn't, like you assured us last week, we have had the World Health Organization and others issue statements. Ghana, we are okay, we should continue?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, if you look at it, the data I shared on this program last week was no different from the data that the MHRA and the European Medicines Agency said. I've not seen the WHO data, but I don't think that would be any different. More importantly, yesterday a letter leaked about the for-profit big pharmaceutical companies who are manufacturing vaccines wanting to increase their prices, claiming in their view that now that a vaccine has been found, the pandemic has ended. And the letter is available for everyone to read. I did share it on my Facebook wall. The truth of the matter is the AstraZeneca research and development money, which is about £300 million, has been absorbed by the UK government. So there is not that patent overhead on the vaccine, making it one of the cheapest in the world. Without them increasing their prices, if the others increase their price, the market would shift towards AstraZeneca. So politically, there is so much reason why people have to bastardize the AstraZeneca, vaccine. And unfortunately, people haven't realized that by bastardizing that vaccine, you are bastardizing the vaccination drive for the entire, pandemic regulation. It's not just going to affect AstraZeneca. And I was on your sister station with Kwame Achanu the other day, and we both agree that we've not seen the end of what the European Union did. And for me, it's rather disappointing because as we speak now, a number of countries in the European Union have gone back into lockdowns, and the French Prime Minister and President have said this morning that with the exponential growth in their cases, there is no way vaccination alone can see them through this third wave. And for me, that's disappointing.
What do you make of our rollout so far? After, the first batch, does it appear that we are in sort of a hiatus? Is that what you see?
Well, yes. I mean, Samson, that is why I'm saying that we've not seen the end of what the European Union did. They have actually destabilized the supply chain of vaccines because some of them sat on a stockpile of vaccines that they haven't used. They are now putting pressure on AstraZeneca to supply them more. They are putting pressure on the Serum Institute of India. The Indian government has then intervened. At the moment, they are blocking vaccines going to Australia. So I'm quite sure Dr. Achanu will be the best person to say. So the COVAX supply chain is now not very certain. That cannot be put at the doorstep of government. it should squarely be put at the doorstep of the European Union, who have brought the whole world here. So yes, we are in a bit of a hiatus, but I am expecting that will change. And to be honest, anyone who had been following the drug supply chain since January would have known that hiatus was going to happen, even by the, the declarations COVAX issued, that the first things were going to come at the end of the first quarter, and most of it was going to kick in by the end of the second quarter. So yes, there's a bit of concern, but nothing to worry about.
So, Dr. Kwame Achiano, we are looking at having done not more than, is it 1% or not up to 2% of the entire population so far? Is that correct?
Thank you, Samson. Good morning to your cherished viewers and listeners. Yes, we've done around 100.
Forgive us. There's a little problem with your connection. Can you state what you said again?
Yes, I first of all extended felicitations to your viewers and listeners. Now, saying that, yes, we've done around close to 500,000, 500,000. And so if you strike it, you probably will say less than, let's say around 1%.
So we must be raising because we need, the purpose is to get herd immunity. And this way, we are not likely to get there, are we?
Well, that is the reason why we haven't boxed ourselves with just one vaccine. And so if you recall, in our discourse with the general population and of course with the media, we've been talking about the fact that we have opened up, and within our plan, we are also looking at all the other vaccines that will pass emergency use. Of course, that will include those that will pass emergency use, not just at the global level, but also local level with our national regulatory authority. And so for now, we have AstraZeneca, we also have Sputnik. And I know government is making efforts to get Sputnik into the country. So it's not just about AstraZeneca, but we are looking at other vaccines as well. So we are still hopeful.
Yeah, hopeful, but are we acting with a sense of urgency? Is that what you see? We have done 1.07% of the population, and herd immunity means that we must get what percentage of the population, vaccinated almost around the same time?
Yes, nobody really knows what percentage would be the benchmark for herd immunity. But from modeling and from experience from other countries, we think that when we get around 60, 65 up to 70% of the population vaccinated, we are likely to hit herd immunity. And for the agency, yes, I do sincerely hope that the Ministry of Health and then of course the Ministry of Finance are really working hard at it in getting Sputnik within the next couple of weeks.
So there is a potential, real,
yes,
that all of us who have vaccinated so far, there may not be a use to it if we don't commence the general populace vaccination as quickly as possible, right?
Well, right and wrong. One thing about the AstraZeneca vaccine is that one dose gives you some protection for a minimum of 3 months. It gives you about 70%, 76% protection. And so even one dose is good enough, except that we need to give the second dose to make sure that we have heightened and sustained immunity within the next 9 months or so. And breaking transmission means that you need to get that threshold of what we describe as population immunity to get that kind of breakage in transmission. If the transmission is not broken, then of course it's going to be a chronic kind of epidemic. And so we ourselves have given us as our deadline to be around the end of the year, by which time we hopefully would have hit at least 20 million people.
Right. George Sabla, are we doing any post-vaccination analysis to determine adverse effects? How, where, and by whom?
Hello, Sabla. Good morning, Samson, and good morning to all viewers and listeners. First of all, I want to say that yes, we are doing that. And if you permit me for a minute or two, I'll take your listeners and viewers through the systems in Ghana to monitor the safety of vaccines.
Perfect.
It's important I do that because people keep asking, does Ghana have the system to monitor the safety of the vaccines that are being deployed? I can say with all humility and without any fear of doubts anywhere around the world that Ghana has one of the best systems for monitoring the safety of vaccines and medicinal products across the globe. And Ghana's system can be comparable to anywhere in this world, the best systems anywhere in this world. And why am I saying this? Between 2019 to 2020, that's about a whole year period, WHO reviewed Ghana's regulatory system. And what they do is that to assess all the regulatory functions. And what I'm talking about is specifically for safety monitoring of vaccines and other medicinal products. And over the 1 year of review, WHO assessed our system as maturity level 4. And what this means is that our system is operating at an advanced level and only continuous improvement needed. And what it means that if we put any product on the market, we can identify any safety issues with these products. So that's one reason. The second reason is that we've had experience in doing monitoring safety of new vaccines and medicines. Ghana was the first country to introduce 2 new vaccines in the immunization program in 2012, rotavirus vaccines and pneumococcal vaccine. And we effectively monitor the safety of these vaccines to the admiration of the whole world. And currently, I'm sure you remember in 2019 when we launched the malaria vaccine implementation program, and it's being piloted in 7 regions across Ghana. And we are doing that with 2 other African countries. And Ghana's data is the best that I can say, and we've done that over 2 years without any safety concerns. So we've had the experience, our system has been reviewed, and finally, what I want to say is that Ghana is our pharmacovigilance system or safety monitoring system has been recognized by African Union as a regulatory center of excellence. And what this means is that other countries in the sub-region benchmark our system to improve what they are doing in their countries. And we have several countries across the sub-region to come here and understudy our system. So that's the reason why I'm saying that. And specifically with regards to COVID-19 vaccination, we are doing a number of things to monitor the safety of the product that is currently being used. That's the AstraZeneca vaccine, the one we call Covid-19. What we are doing is that we have a proactive safety monitoring plan. And what do I mean by this? We are doing this proactively and we are collecting data from 3 basic sources. The first thing we are doing is that as you may know, we already have a system called the spontaneous reporting system where patients and healthcare workers can report side effects of the medicines or vaccines when they come across it. But before the launch of the deployment, we have had training for almost everybody involved in this program in collaboration with the expanded program on immunization. We've done this from the regional level to the district level to the sub-district level, and we train volunteers. And we also train other government institutions like the NCC on how to communicate safety issues around this vaccine. So what we've done, we have improved on what we are already doing by providing the tools. We have a mobile app that patients can download and use to report side effects of the vaccines. We have an online form that people who take the vaccine can complete. We have our normal form that is available in institutions, healthcare facilities, pharmacies, that people who have side effects can complete. And the second source of data, and to us most importantly, is that we have all the system in place for people to report spontaneously. But together with the EPR, we are following up on persons who receive the vaccines in 5 selected healthcare facilities across the 3 regions that have deployed the vaccine so far, in the Greater Accra region, in the Central region, and Ashanti region. And what we are doing is that we designed a protocol called the cohort event monitoring. And what we are doing is that the cohorts that we are following are people who receive the vaccine. And we've trained healthcare workers at this facility to follow them actively and solicit for any adverse event that they may experience.
Okay, so if you can,
So far,
if you can finish up by indicating to our viewers and listeners the reporting systems. Tell us about them. You said there's an app. Which app is this? Which are the reporting sites that people can visit and make the reports?
Yeah, so something, if you allow me to talk about the funnel system for the report for which we are collecting data.
Please do.
The funnel system is that the manufacturer of the vaccine, in this case, Serum Institute of India, is obliged by law to submit to the FDA every safety report that they receive from around the world. And we receive report from them bi-weekly. And so far, we receive, they have deployed over 100,000 doses across the globe and receive safety data on these reports. Now, to go back to your question, the first platform for reporting is what I mentioned, the MedSafety app. We have a mobile app that is freely available in the App Store or Google Play. It's called the MedSafety app. You just have to go and then you type MedSafety app and then you download the app. It's freely available.
MedSafety as in?
Med as in medicine. So Safety app.
Okay.
So you download the app and you can complete.
All right.
And then we also have an online reporting platform where you can just go to the website of the FDA, and we have distributed that on social media. You go online and then you complete the form. And finally, assuming you cannot use internet, you cannot download the app, we have, anybody has received a vaccine, you are given a card, and at the back of the card, there's a mobile number there. You call that number and report any experience that you have with the vaccine. And I must say that that is the most popular means of receiving reports so far.
Okay. Thank you so very much, George Sabla, Head of Safety and Monitoring, Food and Drugs Authority, FDA. Let me take your final words, Dr. Kwame Amponsa Achiano, Senior Public Health Physician, Specialist and Program Manager, Expanded Program on Immunization, Ghana Health Service. What will be your final words? People may be getting relaxed because they are hip, they have heard that there's a vaccine in. We are waiting until everything comes in June, or what's going on?
Thank you, Samson. Before I get there, let me reiterate the fact that it is normal, it is customary for countries to signal potential adverse events following immunization. With respect to what has been going on around Europe, we can't stand unconcerned because it affects us as well. And this is good practice, except that when it's overly done, then it puts the whole world in a very different situation. Before we started the rollout, our hesitancy rate was around 70%. Just a day or two before, we had managed to reduce it to less than 30%. Now, with the concerns that were raised by Europe, which obviously was not really founded in science, we've had a lot of backlash, and we are hopeful that with the new guidelines issued and statements issued by both the WHO and the EMA, that the European Medicines Agency, we hope to circumvent this and then get back on track in terms of getting vaccinated.
Okay. I said my final one, but this one in some 30 seconds. What has been done about the 3 people who were reported for selling COVID-19 vaccines?
Yeah, in fact, it came as a surprise to us because we've been drumming this to them, not just with COVID vaccine, but for every vaccine. In fact, you don't sell any vaccine that is for public good, more so when it is the government and sponsored vaccine. Of course, it's a criminal matter, so we'll be taken up by the police. We will leave that to the police to do the investigation. But of course, the Director General of the Ghana Health Service will surely also take respective action.
All right, thank you very much. Let's have Kwame Sapong-Asiedu's final words.
Well, Samson, all I'd want to say is that this should not breed more vaccine hesitancy. There was nothing to it. It was a red herring. I mean, anyone who wants to get a blood clot it's better off not taking the vaccine and getting COVID, because when you get COVID, you have a 1 in 6 chance of getting a blood clot. Whereas when you take the vaccine, it's over 1 to 350 chance, and there's no causal relationship. So some of these things are grounded in science, but anyone peddling any information that would make you vaccine hesitant on the basis that the vaccines cause blood clots isn't. And that is how I'd want to leave it.
All right. Thank you also very much, Kwame Sapong-Asiedu, pharmacist and fellow Ghana Center for Democratic Development, George Sabla, Head of Safety and Monitoring at the Food and Drugs Authority, and Dr. Kwame Amponsa Achanu, who is a Senior Public Health Physician and Specialist with the Ghana Health Service. We take a break here. We return to deal with questions of the budget. There are taxes, more taxes, wages, less wages, or nothing at all. What's going on? We'll be right back.